That is insane to me, bro. That is insane to me, bro. Ah. I can't fathom. I can't fathom it. I literally cannot fathom looking at Trump and thinking that he's competent, that he's effective. By what metric? Policy passed? He's not effective there. He's not competent at getting people to work together. He's not competent at basically any of the main functions of being a president. Can we name like one major piece of legislation that Trump passed that wasn't his tax plan? A chat? Anybody?
For more on the NBC News poll, I'm joined by national political correspondent Steve Kornacki to break down the numbers. A lot of headlines here, Steve.
Absolutely, Kristen. I think the biggest headline let's give you the bottom line. Donald Trump.
Bro, this guy's live stream on YouTube during Super Tuesday was so intense. He was like, he had like 18 computers around him and he was like running back and forth, and all you could hear was like the news people talking behind him, because it was like, we'll be right back after these messages, but they didn't have commercials because it was YouTube, right? And he was just like very intently, like very, very intensely looking at all these computers and running back and forth and looking at the big, you know, the big smart board and shit, dude. That shit was so fun to watch, even though he wasn't even saying anything. It was just fun to watch. Anyways.
Does lead Joe Biden 46 to 44% in our poll, but this is a tightening from our last poll. You could see 3 months ago, Donald Trump had a 5-point lead against the current president. That 5-point lead now down to 2 points. So there's progress here for Biden in the last 3 months.
Coming after the State of the Union, and he's had a campaign blitz.
Yeah, he's in the Democratic primaries, such as they were, coming to an end. Perhaps there's Democrats rallying around Biden, too. Also, I think not coincidentally, this slight improvement here for Biden tracks with a slight improvement in his job approval rating. It now sits at 42%. Again, go back to our last poll. Look at this. He was in all-time low for him territory last time around. Now up back over 40%. This is the highest Biden's job approval has been in our poll since last spring. So again, these are encouraging signs for Joe Biden, although broader picture here, this 42% approval rating, history says probably by itself not enough. He's probably going to need more, because put this in some context here. These are other recent presidents at this point in their re-election campaigns. Where were their approval ratings? Again, you see Biden's 42%. One thing that jumps out, they were all higher than Joe Biden. The other thing, the two presidents on this list who did not win re-election, of course, Donald Trump 4 years ago, he was at 46%. And back in 1992, George H.W. Bush, he was at 43%. Biden below both of those. The last time Biden's been at this level, 46%.
Dog, look at the latency on that board. When he circles them, there's like a full second delay from where his finger was.
Biden. The other thing, the two presidents on this list who did not win re-election, of course, Donald Trump 4 years ago, he was at 46%. And back in 1992, George H.W. Bush, he was at 43%.
You're one of the biggest news companies in the entire country. Get a better smart board, dude.
Biden below both of those. The last time Biden's been at this level, 46%. You got to go back to the start of 2023. The last time he was higher than that, you got to go back to the summer of 2021, his first year as president. So Biden has some work to do on that front. And also, troubling for the Biden campaign, the erosion of public confidence on a number of critical fronts. We asked voters.
I didn't just use the wrong word right there, right? It is latency. When something is like, if I have low latency on my mouse, then like it wouldn't be moving this fast. I have I have low latency here. They have high latency there, right?
In this poll, but a number of leadership characteristics here. Which candidate would be better? There are only two where Biden has the edge over Trump. Abortion, we've talked about this one, seen this for a long time.
That's
here.
A big one.
It is, certainly is. That's the biggest Biden advantage in this poll. And then bringing the country together, Biden, you see, performing better than Trump. But I think the headline here is you add those two numbers together, you're not even close to 100. That means a lot of voters think neither candidate is better on that. And then on every other front here, we talk about the erosion for Biden, and now you start to see it. Look at these numbers. Trump advantages on all of these traits.
And I stop here because competent and effective, that was President Biden's.
That is insane to me, bro. That is insane to me, bro. I can't fathom. I can't fathom it. I literally cannot fathom looking at Trump and thinking that he's competent, that he's effective. By what metric? Policy passed? He's not effective there. He's not competent at getting people to work together. He's not competent at basically any of the main functions of being a president. The only thing this dumb is competent at, the only thing this guy is competent at is triggering libs.
The crux of his campaign pitch back in 2020.
And we actually polled this question in 2020, and it was basically the exact opposite. It was Biden with about a 10-point advantage over Trump. And again, same with handling a crisis. Biden
handling a crisis? COVID? You know, maybe America does need to balkanize. Maybe America does need to completely just collapse. Maybe America just needs to collapse so that we can cordon ourselves off into the people that are willing to actually try and get shit done, and then like all the retards in like the deep south and in the what do you even like the not the Midwest, because the Midwest is like, well, is Iowa? What states are the Midwest? How did it know? That is too many states to be all considered the same geographical location. Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin, Illinois being similar to Kansas, Nebraska, South, and North Dakota? I don't think so, Tim. I'm sorry. I don't think so, Tim. That's some insane shit. But basically, like, let's look at, let's make sure it's not going to dox my location. Ha ha ha. Okay. Like, we can even let some of the conservatives over here play ball, okay? Let's take this half of the country right here. Maybe we could include Georgia, right? And then everything from Florida over through, you know, up through Missouri to Iowa. We can Minnesota's an edge case, but we'll keep Minnesota in the good people, all right? Or I'm sorry, not the good people, the smart people, right? Let all the retards live in this general area, right? And then we can have like, you know, Portlandia or, you know, like Pacific Northwestia over here, plus Nevada. And then they can have their own low country. And that's how we need to balkanize. Have 3 separate countries where there is, you know, at least semi-competent human beings all over here. And then these retards, you know, they can pass all the legislation they want about trans people. They can pass all the legislation they want about, you know, their, you know, minarchist, you know, pro-Christianity bullshit, you know, nation that they want, right? We can watch them all, you know, starve to death because they're unwilling to do any kind of globalist trade. And, you know, I have no love for the West Coast, okay? West Coast can do whatever they want to do. But, like, dude, I genuinely cannot imagine nearly half of this country looks back at COVID and thinks Trump handled that well.
Had the edge over.
We need more 2016 meme videos as everyone acts like the world has ended. I don't know what you mean, 2016 meme videos. I don't know. I feel like the big difference in the USA are city people versus small town cities. Sure. But I'm not willing to balkanize the United States like that, okay? Not that much. But seriously, it's insane to me.
For Trump, and how about this? It's the former president, the current president. We don't really.
By what metric on any of these things, dude? I don't think okay, I think I understand what you're talking about now. Like when it comes to people acting like the world has ended, Like, no, the world hasn't ended. We went through a really, really rough 4 years with a literal, like, medically retarded, psychologically impaired, spiritually defunct, psychically bereft. There are like 3 words that went through my head, and none of them were okay for stream. Like this is Trump. Yes.
Well, you're just talking like a Mongoloid.
I don't give a f. I am a Mongoloid.
That's Trump. That's Trump. And yet, half of our country thinks that he's better than Biden, who has passed more legislation, larger legislation. Like, on average over the past 4 years, how many like huge bills has he passed that were absolutely critical to the success of the nation? We had at least 4 major pieces of legislation in the first year of Biden's presidency that everyone was super. Biden passed bills that were critical to the success of the nation. There were at least 4 in the first year alone. There were at least 1 or 2 every year since. Can we name like one major piece of legislation that Trump passed that wasn't his tax plan? A chat? Anybody? The 2018 Farm Bill. That was before I was like super politically like active like I am now. 2018 Farm Bill. What did that do? Wait, was this the protectionist shit? It legalized a lot of weed stuff? Okay, well, you know what? Based. Oh, shit. Let me see here. Dairy more. Can we get like what did the 2018 Farm Bill do? 1 second. It didn't pass the House because the Freedom Caucus thought that it would let too many brown people in. Oh, shit. It largely continued current farm and nutrition policy. TFAP. So it was like it was just continuing mostly like old legislation. Are we going to count this on the same level as, like, I don't know, the infrastructure bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, the like 2 omnibus bills that were meant to stimulate the economy, which guess what? Can we get one that's like slightly more condensed that doesn't go back to the 1960s? Here. I mean, part of this, and I won't lie, like right here, we see, yes, Trump did continue the same trend for the economy as Obama did, which was a good economy. Then COVID hit. Granted, we can't blame Trump for like literally every economic loss that comes from COVID. I'll be the first to admit that. The graph here, let's go to 2000. This is a much steeper increase. I wish that we could get like the rate without having to bust out a calculator or some shit. But like, this is a steeper line. Granted, not much, but it is a steeper line than what Trump was able to achieve. Read what I said. Most legislation passed despite Trump, not because of him. True. There was a COVID emergency bill that was passed during his presidency. Yes. Much to the chagrin of the Republican Party. The most favored nation executive order on insulin. Is that the title of the bill? Wait, is the title of this bill actually the most favored nation? Bro, it's so cringe. America's paying for regulate drug prices by negotiating drug manufacturers. The lowest price after adjusting for volume and differences in national gross domestic product. I don't like at first blush. I don't necessarily think that this is a horrible thing. I can think of like a couple of reasons, like economically it would be bad, but just because something has like a slight negative on the economy doesn't necessarily mean that I'm wholly against it. If it provides like substantial, what's the word I'm looking for? Substantial benefit to the average American. But here's a question. If Biden got rid of this executive order, did he not also in like the first 2 years of his presidency pass like through Congress some bill that I can't remember the name of that essentially just by reading like the first couple of sentences or I'm sorry, paragraphs or skimming the first couple of paragraphs did basically the exact same thing, but in a more effective way and through like the legislative process rather than the executive order process so that it's more cemented in law. I will give Trump credit for things that he did good. Like Nyersock said, Trump rushed the vaccine. That was a good thing. The Operation Warp Speed, that was a good thing. But he can't run on it because half of his constituency, despite all the ivermectin that they took, have brain worms that have bored tunnels through every single important connection in their brain not related to eating, breathing, shitting, pissing, and like saying insane batshit shit out into the ether. He can't even run on it. Biden's economy only looks better because of lower employment and higher wage. You mean lower unemployment, right? Actually, I actually don't know what the unemployment rate over time. And higher wages and more investment. I mean, yeah, like the graph that we were looking at here, we can see a steady increase here. But that goes back to, guess what? Obama's presidency. It's just a continued trend. I can't necessarily 100% knock 100% of the blame of the economic downturn during 2020 on Trump. I will accept that. That's totally fine. Some of it does. But the graph is steeper under Biden. The economy has grown faster under Biden than it did under Trump. But civilian unemployment rate, Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay, so at its lowest point for Trump was 3.5, and we've been hovering around there, around the same for Biden. And I think like between 3 and 5% unemployment. No, hold on. 5% might be too much. What is the target unemployment rate? Is it between 3 and 5%? That's inflation. Isn't the answer like 3 to 5%? Why is this so? As the U.S. unemployment rate gets below 5%, the economy is very close to or at full capacity. There we go. Between 3 and 5%. I was right. Look at that. Look at the MIT Tech News article on the quantum dot tattoos. Promoted the chips. Well, give me can you give me like a reason to look it up? Like, oh, the MIT's article says Bill asked for the chips and who is Bill? Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, and the JP Morgan articles for sorry, I thought you were telling me to look up something here. the best unemployment rate is 0. Look at the hoops libs have to go through to defend Biden. Yeah, it's super. It's insane. Econo Boy, just so you have a reason or like the context for why we're saying this, like which candidate is better? These numbers are insane. These numbers are insane. I cannot fathom the competent and effective. I cannot fathom strong record as president. Like Trump White House.archives.gov. Why? Damn. Why does it feel like even though I know it's not? I might have to run downstairs and grab myself some ibuprofen. I've had a crazy headache all goddamn day. And whenever the noise cancellation is on either these headphones or like some earbuds, it actually, it feels like someone's pushing plungers against my ears and like driving air into my brain. I will read what you sent me here in just a minute. But Trump administration accomplishments as of January 2021. Before the China virus invaded our shores, America gained 7 million new jobs, more than 3 times government experts' projections. It's going to be maybe jobs created by year chart. Can we see that? Job growth? Is that something that we can see easily? Bro, come on. Come on. I'm sorry. Like, this is a website from... Wait, hold on. Oh, hold on. This only goes to 2014. Hold on. I was about to say, that's an old ass. That's an old ass. Okay. I wish that we could zoom out a little bit. Okay, between... The reason that I want to see like a graph that I can actually with a little bit and like change the timeline is because there were a fuckload of jobs that came back after COVID ended, and I don't want to give the impression that I'm being ultra biased towards like in an actually unfair way towards Biden. But job creation by president, actually that's a lot more sloped of a graph than I would have guessed from Biden. Not even gonna lie, because I would have assumed that this sharp downtick and then return would be matched by an equal like sharp uptick and then gradual slope off. Sorry, this is boring as I'm autistic. See, this is what I was talking about earlier. I'm starting to get so normie pilled on politics, guys. I actually am getting too normie pilled, and it's kind of sad to me because I don't get the same joy I got learning about all these crazy extremist ideologies like I did in the past. I used to love learning about what a socialist actually was, learning what a fascist actually was. I loved learning about the initial part of my political education that wasn't just completely self-guided. The part of my like political journey where I was just like, okay, I've switched to political science as a college major. I'm starting to learn about that in school. It's all stuff that I basically know and from stream anyway, right? They ask us a couple questions about social and they ask us a couple questions about fascism. Woohoo. But like I think like the best thing that I've gotten out of streaming for the past 4 years, God, I've been streaming for 4 years, has been I have learned how to effectively research topics in a way that I can parse through information. I can look at that information, decide whether it's biased or not, and, take take from whatever level of bias the information that I think is the most correct without the spin, and then synthesize that with a bunch of other articles or information or data sets. And I think I can come to pretty accurate conclusions if given the amount of time to do the actual research. Like, I'm not going to sit down, do research for a week, and come out on the other side with a completely one-sided, ideological answer like I would have at the beginning of streaming, right? Like, that's been the greatest boon to my real life that I've gotten from streaming, I think, along with all of you guys that come through to watch my stupid streams where I give my stupid retarded opinions and I say stupid things all the time. Of course, I love you guys too. Could I send a Jordan Peterson link? Sure, we can do some Jordan Peterson memes here in a minute. What was I saying? Yeah, but it's super boring for you guys because I'm sitting here like, ooh, look at line on graph. Line go down? Ah, I expected that. Oh, I didn't expect this. I wonder why that is. Obviously, that's super boring for you guys. We'll move on a little bit. But just like, I don't derive the same joys that I used to. I still enjoy streaming. I just don't know where the joy comes from yet. I knew that the joy from streaming before came from, man, I love arguing with people. I love, I love, the blood sports. I love the drama of it all. I liked the paycheck that I was getting at that time. But I don't derive the pleasure centers in my brain don't activate in the same way that they used to.
We see matchups like this. Well, now we can measure it. Who has the strong record?
Not to say that they don't activate at all. They just activate for different things. But I haven't been able to isolate what it is that I enjoy about streaming still. And you won't let me put out the debate short? We'll do the debates short when I'm not so agitated and headached that I would actually call someone an actual slur on stream. All right? Listen, I'm only human. All right? And when someone starts acting like a when someone starts acting like a mongoloid,
I don't give a fuck. I am a mongoloid.
When someone starts acting like one, I feel the need to say it. All right?
As president, and again, Trump outpacing Biden on that front. And again, you got to mention this one too: necessary mental and physical health. We asked this 4 years ago; it was a wash. It's now a.
Also, dealing with the inflation and cost of living. We didn't really have bad inflation under Trump, so we don't know how he would deal with inflation. Right? Necessary mental, physical health. I'm not going to lie. Biden is probably a little older. Well, we know he's a little older. He probably like shows his age a little bit more than Trump. Trump is still more retarded than Biden. Okay, I said it right the first time. Trump is still more retarded than Biden. At whatever level he's at, for some reason, he is still stupider than Biden. And Biden, I'll even admit, is, he's having a couple of sundown moments, He's having a little bit of his, he's in his twilight years. He's going to forget things. He's not as sharp as he used to be. He's still sharp. He talked shit to a I think it was a Fox News reporter the other day, and it was really for an 80-year-old man who everybody thinks actually has dementia. Dude cooked that reporter, and he didn't even misspeak.
Clear liability for Joe Biden. So these are all troubling numbers for Biden. That's not to say there aren't warning signs for Donald Trump in this poll either.
Well, Trump and his campaign are hoping third.
Also, I just don't understand. Like, I don't get to debate people anymore. I don't get to have like conversations. Like the few ardent conservatives that are like pro-Trump that I know they either stream too late for me to be able to talk to them and their life schedule just completely conflicts with mine, or it's not even worth talking to them because their worldview is so anathema to anything that I think is even in the realm of acceptable that I can't justify talking to them for the purposes that I want, right? Like, I want to have a conversation with a conservative, right? Totally good faith, totally chill. I don't want to like sit there and scream at them. I just want to know, like, okay, when you see, okay, so love or hate the Trump court cases going on right now. Love or hate them. That's not what I want to ask about. What I want to ask about is the behavior of Trump in these court cases. He's being given gag orders because of what I would consider actually mob, you know, like mob boss mentality style shit. It's like trying to intimidate the jury. He's trying to intimidate witnesses. He's trying to intimidate the judge. Do you not see a problem with this? Like, I wish that, like, for any conservative that I could have on my stream, the problem is that most of them are going to be streamers, and most of the ones that are still willing to talk to me are like pretty centrist conservatives that I don't even know if they would necessarily support Trump, right? I can't fix that blind spot for me because I don't understand it. I genuinely don't. Every once in a while, I'll drop into, if you guys remember Drone Tech from my debates with him a couple of months ago, or I think he also debated Destiny recently. I don't remember what about. Like, I'll pop into his Discord every once in a while and be like, hey, I'm just getting a temperature check in the room, okay? KOE would be a good person to talk to. He is respectful if you are. I don't hate KOE, and I don't want this to come off as too much of a dig. That guy is playing a character. That's what I don't want, okay? That's what I do not want in this conversation. I want someone who is being 100% totally upfront, truthful, etc., right? He is super high energy. Yeah, I don't hate the guy. He's funny. He's like chill to talk to, right? It's entertaining to talk to him. But like, and I don't think he's a bad person by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm not going to have a serious conversation with KOE, the guy who's, you know, online persona is built around like a almost wrestling, like WWE type persona, you know? But yeah, I want to get into the brainscape, okay? I want to see the ridges and the folds of the brain of the conservative that actually loves America, wants America to succeed, isn't just voting for Trump to trigger the libs. What rational reason do you have to support this guy who has literally only created chaos? Who has literally only created chaos in our country? I don't even care. I'm not going to lie. I don't care if someone wants to be a conservative or a Republican. If they want to vote for a Republican, I genuinely do not care. I have friends that are conservatives. We don't talk about politics that much, right? But sometimes we do, and we can have like a chill conversation, and I can get like some insight with them, right? But when it comes to like Trump supporters who like fit into the same, you know, what I would say is like the acceptable Overton window, right? Like the furthest left versus the furthest right that is acceptable in society. What my Overton window would be. There are just so many conservatives that have broken out of, you know, rational land, you know? When did I become a leftist? If you mean leftist as in socialist, that would have been around 2019. If you mean liberal or left of center, then that would probably be somewhere in the ballpark of when I was born. I've always been way more liberal than conservative in basically every point in my life. but I did become like an actual socialist around 2019. It wasn't because of Noam Chomsky. I don't think I heard about Noam Chomsky until 2020 or 2021. And again, like the entire reason that I got into leftism wasn't because of scholars. It wasn't because of activists or anything like that. It was because of YouTube. Okay. I got sucked into the socialist vortex on YouTube because the things that they said at a baseline, you know, the crypto tanky lines of, well, I just want people to have healthcare. Definitely got me because I didn't know about the very deep world of ideology when it comes to politics. It's hyper autistic and it's hyper not useful to your everyday life, nor is it useful to life as a person wanting to go into politics. As opposed to supporting a sane candidate like Jeb Bush. I'm sorry, Jeb Bush is more mentally capable than Trump, right? Put the Jordan Peterson link in tabs. How long is this? Okay,
I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out.
Please stop. Please stop. Like, who were the Republican candidates 2016? Let's see. There are a lot of like insane people on here. Like Chris Christie now is like a giga like anti-Trump, almost liberal type dude at this point. So like, but like compared to him in like 2016, compared to, I don't know, who was less insane back then. I guess he's the only person on here who was less insane back then, huh? Actually, what's this guy's name again? He hasn't been relevant in a long time. Marco Rubio. I would say with the exception of these four dudes and Rand Paul, the other guys right here are like fairly sane, even if I disagree with like 80 to 90% of the policies that they would put forward. Like I would not want them to get elected. I would not want them to be the leader of my nation. I don't think that they would be good for the country, but do I think that they would be as damaging as literally even a single one of these guys, including Rand Paul? No. But like, I think I would take literally, actually, the Scott Walker guy was actually kind of crazy, right? Like, it would be a hard choice between these three if I had a gun to my head and I had to choose between one of these three guys to be president. I don't know who I would choose, but it wouldn't be Trump. Okay. It wouldn't be Trump. I think that people, like I said at the very beginning of the stream, I think people just want to go back to a place of normalcy. I think that people just want to go back to a point where things were way less crazy divided, or like, you know, like leftism is dying because they, number one, never even attempted to find any political wins in the United States, whether it was actually spreading socialism around outside of, you know, the Gen Alpha, Gen Z, and like younger millennial crowd. Like outside of that crew, socialism never took off with any demographic. And even now, like you can see Gen Alpha, they're not going towards socialism. They're going towards being liberals or, you know, Trump supporters, you know.
Third-party candidate might give them a little bit of a boost, but our poll shows it's a little bit murkier than that.
That's the thing, because again, we show a 46-44 race here for Donald Trump. Again, all those liabilities for Biden, Trump only ahead too. What the Trump folks have been hoping is RFK, third-party candidates, they gobble up some votes, and Trump doesn't need to get to 50%. But look what happens when we add RFK's name to the mix. Suddenly, we have a new leader. Joe Biden, 39%. Donald Trump, 37%. There's Kennedy getting 13%.
Oh no! How do I undo? Oh no! It's okay. Most of those tabs were unimportant. We can open this one back up.
I've spent a lot of
pause. We can go to my watch history.
13%.
All of the coping all of the coping from conservatives that RFK was going to pull more from Biden than from Trump. I don't know. Control Shift T. Oh well. Too late. I genuinely don't know why they thought that. Does RFK have more policies in line with Biden than Trump? Probably. He has been a lifelong Democrat. However, the dude's like an anti-vaxxer and doesn't believe in like most of like the huge topics that Democratic voters care about right now. I'm pretty sure he's against funding, any defense for Ukraine. I'm pretty sure he's against funding anything for Israel. I'm pretty sure I know he's an anti-vaxxer. He's like a race realist for some reason. And I'm not making that up. He literally thinks that like COVID attacks your body in a different way if you're black, white, or Asian or some shit like that. And so I'm pretty sure, I don't want to like say what I was about to say without RFK COVID race. Why do people see mRNA gene therapy as synonymous with inoculation? I'm trying to think of a response to that. It literally inoculates you. Like, to the same degree or slightly better than traditional methods of vaccinations. I don't think it's like the holy grail of all medical science that's ever come about, but it obviously works. Classifying it as gene therapy is like the stupidest way to talk about it, but okay. Like, people definitely, yeah, not all inoculations are gene therapy. True. Like, there are people that fetishize the vaccine and the mRNA technology because they want people to get the shot so that we could get out of COVID. But and that can be cringe. But RFK is really pro-Israel? Okay. Then it must just be like anti-aid to Ukraine then. I feel like I read that somewhere. Otherwise, I'm spreading misinformation and we should all vote for RFK. What were the claims that he said? Has floated a conspiracy theory that COVID was ethnically targeted white and black people and spared... Oh, COVID ethnically targeted white and black people and spared Ashkenazi, Jewish, and Chinese people. That's right. That shit's crazy. mRNA orders the DNA to produce proteins. They could become hormones or any other protein. Beneficial or benign. I don't know if you're arguing against the mRNA vaccines because of the delivery method, or because that seems like a totally neutral statement. Yes, shoot it my way, Redtron. I thought more libertarians than hardcore conservatives were RFK supporters, as are some libertarian-leaning progressives. Yeah, I mean, like I would assume more libertarians, but libertarians are part of the Republican base, not part of the Democratic base. Some non-socialist progressives in your camp appreciate RFK's anti-war stance in regard to Ukraine, although I think his anti-Israel critiques are bad given the existential threat Arab Jew haters pose in terms of terrorism. You're not beating the Panda Man allegations. I know who you are.
In other words, we're seeing by a better than 2-to-1 margin, it's Trump voters who are flipping over to Kennedy in this scenario, not Biden voters. You see it right here. 15% of Trump voters, when we add RFK's name to the mix, they go to RFK. Only 7% of Biden voters. So it's a big change right there.
Defies conventional wisdom. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. I think we haven't seen this in other polls. And one final note, Kristen, as well, is this. It's the question of enthusiasm. I thought this really jumped out here. The most engaged voters, those who vote voted in 2020, voted in the midterm elections, those folks are voting for Biden by 9 points. Where Trump's strength is, why he leads Biden, it's voters who don't typically turn out in many elections. Didn't vote in 20, didn't.
Ooh, that's interesting. That's super interesting. If you guys didn't know, in every election that you've ever seen where someone is trying to bring out the vote from people who traditionally do not vote, almost always lose. Like, I think like 9 times out of 10, not even as a joke. The people that are going to vote are the kind of people that go out and vote normally. The people that don't go out and vote on average in election years, even if you're enthusiastic about one guy over the other, I mean, look at Bernie Sanders. Look at Bernie Sanders. Dude was very popular in the Democratic Party. Dude was, you know, a leader, probably still is a leader in the Democratic Party, but we don't hear about him much anymore because Biden's such a giga chad and gets shit done. But if this is actually how it is, then it's looking very promising for Biden. I mean, as things stand right now, the things do look very, very, very promising for Biden. But 1 second. Just that inoculation is an established science, but mRNA therapy is highly experimental. It's not highly experimental. It's been tested now. If it's been tested, it's no longer in the experimental phase. It is now in the practical application phase. Like how many years LGTBT? What the fuck does that stand for? In how many years of us using mRNA vaccines will it take for you to say that it's no longer an experimental technology? How many millions or billions of people, at this point, billions of people have been given the mRNA vaccine and a booster? I inhaled my own spit, my life. And it's been, what, 4 years, or no, I guess 3 years since the rollout of that vaccine where people were getting the shot, then the booster. Well, hold on. It does more than inoculate, or it can do more than inoculate? It can, yeah. That's a more accurate statement. And see, you know what? I don't even think that that's a necessarily, like, bad position to take or, like, a crazy thing to say. See, like, I'll take your word on it because I haven't done extensive research into mRNA vaccines in like 3 years. So I'll take your word for it. But here's the thing. If it works, it's out of the experimental phase. I think it's time to like stop freaking the fuck out about mRNA technology until a point where someone's trying to do something with it. Like you're saying, I guess it can do some more shit than inoculate. When people start talking about doing that stuff with it and it starts having negative effects, no, we can start having conversations about what applications of mRNA technology versus, traditional methods of therapy are better, right? But as it stands right now, like, what's the point in soying the out over mRNA vaccines? What's the point in freaking the out of COVID still? Whether like on the conservative side where you're freaking out because, oh, they're going to lock us down forever and they're never going to give us our freedoms back. Or if you're on like the crazy, Twitter lefty side of things where people are still shaming people for not wearing masks 3 years later, 4 years later, like, come the fuck on. Why can other people send links, but I can't? I have no clue.
Didn't vote in 2022, they are with Trump by more than 20 points. And the warning sign for Trump in relying on this kind of voter is this. We are seeing the lowest level of interest since we started asking this question back in 2008.
And this is the reason, the very roundabout way to get there. But this is the one graphic that I was watching this video to talk about, right? So if you're just now coming in, the beginning of stream, I was talking about how, I am not getting the good tingly feeling that I used to get for streaming in the same way that I used to, or for the same reasons at least. Like I'm much more politically knowledgeable now. I know way more about the political process. I know way more about what institutions do and what their purpose is. And I no longer am as interested, and maybe it's just because I already have all of that like background knowledge and it's not my hyperfixation anymore. But like I used to be super interested in extremist politics, right? I loved learning about fascism. I loved learning about socialism. I loved learning about liberalism. I loved learning about, you know, what the ideologies were. But I think that we're moving into a like post-extremist era of politics again, right? Like, I guess there are cycles to this sort of thing. And as I pulled up this video earlier, there's a video by a guy named Sean Munger I think he was like a history professor. And he'll put out really interesting videos, right? The first one I watched was his series on the JFK assassination and debunking all the conspiracy theories. Very interesting stuff. But he put out a video about the 1924 election 100 years ago and how the climate at the time made it seem like we need someone who is a progressive in the 1920s term of progressive, right? We need someone who is a staunch conservative, or, you know, we had these very extreme camps of political discourse in the United States in the 1920s, right? We had actual, you know, strong socialist movements in the United States. We had, towards the later half of the 1920s, fascist movements in the United States. But for the most part, by the mid-20s, people were kind of a little bit burnt out on the constant bullshit that comes from populism, the constant bullshit that comes from more extreme ideologies, right? There's constant conflict. And when someone who is running on a platform of, what's the word? You know, the elites versus the people, or, you know, big business versus the small business owner, something like that. And then they get into office and they either can't get any real change passed because nobody actually, like, by and large supports that, especially in the legislature, or B, they don't try to change those things anymore because they get into office and they realize, oh, well, this is why this operates in this way, and it's actually incredibly necessary for it to operate in this way. So we actually can't get rid of that thing. So they end up just doing tiny little piecemeal changes. They're ineffective. They leave office. Things return to the status quo. People got tired of that. They just wanted the status quo. They wanted things to be normal, for us to solve the problems and to chill the out. And I think that's where we are trending right now. I think that if you look at this right here, right, people were very interested in 2008, first black president. People wanted to get him elected, right? 2012, not nearly as invested in that election. 2016, more people were invested in the election. 2020, almost everyone was invested in the election because of obvious fucking reasons, right? But this is like the lowest it's been in at least, you know, this century. It's just, I don't think that the politics of, like, ideology or of identity politics or of insert my pet, you know, worldview. I don't think that the politics of these things are going to stay around for much longer, which for me is great, because goddamn am I so sick and tired of seeing people, you know, on Twitter, like, going around and protesting at Columbia University and being mean to just like random Jews on the street, right? Or like speaking on the left side, right? Like people doing that, like pro-Palestine supporters, or people shaming people for not wearing masks for COVID in 2024, the year of our Lord, 4 years after the COVID pandemic broke out. And we have all the means by which to try and keep the numbers low or to protect yourself. And on the right side, I think people are getting really sick and tired of seeing this man's face everywhere. I think people are like outside of his base. I think people are kind of like, do we have to? Like, people don't like Biden, but do I think that more people are going to go for Biden because he's at least way chiller, isn't as demonic in his rhetoric towards news anchors or news stations or shit like that? Like, people want things to return to normal and be chill again so that they can focus on their real life, I don't care about libertarian activist Dave Smith talking. You know what?
2020 voted in the midterm elections. Those folks are voting for Biden by 9 points. Where Trump's strength is, why he leads Biden, it's voters who don't typically turn out in many elections. Didn't vote in 20, didn't vote in 2022. They are with Trump by more than 20 points. And the warning sign for Trump in relying on this kind of voter is this. We are seeing the lowest level of interest since we started asking this question back in 2008. Are you very interested in the election? 64%. That's lower than any other time at this point where we have polled this before. So again, lower interest. Maybe those voters who are in the polls are saying they're for Trump. Are we sure they're going to actually vote in November? The Trump campaign better hope so.
We'll have to see if that ticks up as we get closer to Election Day. Steve Kornacki, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about
Jesus. Anyways, that was a almost 2 hour and 45-minute long roundabout way of saying that I still enjoy streaming, but I also don't know what parts of streaming are the parts that I enjoy. It's not the same things that I used to. I think that people are trending towards trying to be more normal, instead of more ideologically whatever. Yeah, that's my segment. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube or follow me on Kick. And, we have the memberships on YouTube. We have the subscriptions on Kick. If you guys want to, throw a couple of bucks my way, there are some nice little treats for you. Different emotes and different AI things that the editor can do for you. All right. I'm really bad at promoing. I love you guys very much.